on Spotify to you for free.
Okay. Okay, Joseph. You good to go?
Okay, so this is my concept pitch for a multimedia project related to the marketing of West Jam 2023. So the synopsis of my project is basically an advertisement campaign for West Jam 2023 using multimedia and transmedia techniques throughout the advertisement stages. Using media such as short film, digital posters, handbooks, as well as other media that we'll discuss in a bit. So, as a bit of a background, what is West Jam 2023? It's a regional camp in the West Wales Scout region, so the Dyfed area, so Carmarthenshire, Pembrokeshire and Ceredigion, covering ages from 4 to 18 years old, over 2 nights and 3 days right here in Carmarthen. All about activity, learning and fun with the Scouts. To start off my research, I looked into event marketing because it's something a bit new to me, and from Hoyle I found like about 5 W's. It's the basic: what, where, why, when, and the other one, can't remember which one I said, who. And to me that was very fundamental in making sure I tell the whole story, not missing any information about the story, about the fact it's the first event of its kind in Dyfed, as well as looking at social media becoming one of the most popular ways and most engagement way of working with your audience. Telling the story that way, there's many ways to engage and many ways to interact. I then also went on to looking at research, looking at the Scout brand. Luckily it's something that I know quite well from doing comms roles with Scouts. Things like the typography, colour, language, imagery and stuff like that. The way to use that and stick with that brand as well as having that creative control is something that's a bit complex, but it's something that with the guide I should be able to do quite fine. Then we look at the 3 C's. So the character, much like a few people, my main character is West Jam. It is the event, the fact it's the first of its kind. And the first event really, the event that's looking to leave a legacy for the future. Where I've then also got sub-characters, which is the event courting. So they're going to sort of be the story writers, if you like. They're the ones that are making the whole thing possible and giving West Jam that stage to be the character that it is. As well as the young people from the West Wales area, having their voice in it, having the youth voice, is going to be a great way to really tell the story from the other angle. So you've got the planning team coming in it from one direction, and the young people who are actually joining the event from the other direction. In terms of convenience, social media and stuff like that is ever used within Scouting at the moment anyway. So that'll be my main hub. But it's also convenient in terms of the way it's going to get eyes on the event, it's going to get publicity, which could lead to things like sponsors and externals becoming involved. And the community, as much as it's the West Wales Scout region, it's also Scouting as a whole in Wales and the UK, showing off what we can really do in West Wales, as well as pulling in everyone to join in, basically. So the characters, as I mentioned literally just now, West Jam is the main character and it's the first event of its kind, and that's what's going to lead the story, with the other 2 of the participants and the core team both telling the story and writing the story from 2 slightly different perspectives. So as you can see up on the screen, it's my mood board. It's got certain colour schemes, so obviously the yellows and the navies, that's bringing in the colours of Dyfed, and then the reds for Wales, as well as the normal colours. But you can see the type of media that we're looking to get across is that very interactive media of people doing stuff, rather than the typical Scout stood at attention sort of thing, coming away from the normal stereotype as such. Chosen media for the project then, I've been looking to, throughout the project, including social media, that would be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and possibly TikTok, depends if I can get my head around it or not, but that pulls in different age ranges. The Instagram, as some people have already mentioned, hits that younger audience. Facebook in Scouting will be the parents and the leaders, and the Twitter in Scouting is very a commercial background. It's linking with external partners and linking with other organisations in Scouting. Short films, there'd be 2 at different points in the event. firstly a promo film, which would be, this is what the event is, come and join me in, and telling that story of it being the first event, as well as one after the event, telling the story of what actually happened. Digital posters, following sort of scout brands and stuff like that, as well as quotes from QR codes embedded in the film and social media. We can put together people's excitement and start telling the excitement of the event in the build-up. Online event would be a great way to deliver information using Zoom or Teams, and we've all come used to using in the last few years. Be a great way to get a lot of people together quickly to deliver information and deliver that story. And also look at using handbooks, which would be a great way to have interactive media. They'll access these through QR codes on the events as well as in the build-up, and they can also be online and in person for people who may not have the tech side. Merchandise is an interesting one because it's going to be a big interactive piece in the merchandise. So it's going to be a competition, it's going to go out and it's going to, by the end of it, there'll be a badge and a necker. And that'll be designed by the young people attending the event, which gives it that interactive element which will be pushed throughout the other medias. And QR codes is going to be the fundamental really of interacting with the audience and interacting with the scouts and stuff like that. It's all going to be done through QR codes, linking things like the digital poster to the online event, the digital poster back to the promo videos and into the handbooks and stuff like that as well. So why have I chosen certain medias? These are the medias that I'm going to create for the assessment. Social media is the host, it's the main hub, rather than a website. Using those social medias can hit my target audiences differently, and it will host everything else. The first of the two short films, it's the first piece, it's the piece that you need, that I feel I need to set the tone for the rest of the project. So I'll be looking to create that short promo video. The QR codes, as I've mentioned previously, that's going to be the fundamental of the interactive element. That's how people are going to be getting involved. That's how I'm going to connect with the audience as well as the audience connecting with the story. And then the handbook is a great way to me to pull everything together and have it stored so it's constantly available to people. My strategy and timescale then, so it sort of starts from the end of this year when we start to launch the event, because the event's coming up in June. Starting to launch and get things thing, which will be the social medias being launched. That rolls into then the first short film going up at the same time as the QR codes start to become live, linking into various different things. Digital posters then follow up, these having quotes from people, starting to tell that story, that interest, that excitement. Before the online event, which would be a couple of months before West Jam itself, and then that's when the handbook and merchandise start rolling out. But the strategy to me doesn't end at West Jam. This bit here is just as important, with that second short film and press releases straight after the event, shouting about what we've achieved after as well as before with the strategy. So to summarise, my multimedia project will be a West Jam 2023 advertisement campaign for the first ever regional camp. Following medias on social media, film, digital posters, QR codes, handbooks, merchandise and an online event between December this year and September next year. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
I got a question about the handbook. What is in the handbook?
So the handbook will look to include things like details of what's going on West Jam.
Okay.
So the event will run off a wristband rotation system.
Yeah.
So certain groups will have certain wristbands so they can work out where their zone is supposed to be.
Yeah.
As well as information like first aid points and stuff like that. As well as tying that story back in so everyone knows what the legacy is of being that first
So it's
camp.
like an event brochure then, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you consider doing that in hard copy too as merch?
Yeah, so I think I do look at both. One as merch, but also to the fact that in scouting you've got that range of people.
Yeah.
So you've got the ones that will access it through the QR code quite quickly,
Exactly.
but you'll have
And
the
they do
other
like,
end of the spectrum where they'll be like, can we get a hard copy? So
Like a football programme basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good. Right.
No, the only thing I picked up on was in the list of kind of platforms you have is really good. That was for like 5 there, I think. Be careful with QR codes being a platform. It depends how you design them, I think, more than anything else. They're more of a tool to navigate and link between things. But the thing I really noticed was at the end, you've got press releases. That's actually a platform because that's a different kind of way of writing and promoting something. So actually, QR codes is something probably you'll just have to do anyway, so do it, but actually count the press releases as part of it. So that's not in your current strategy plan, but you bolt it on at the end. It's actually, I think you're underestimating how important it is.
Yeah.
So I would say that could be, you don't have to do the radio bit, but the press release, it's the tone of writing, so have a look at some. We just had one out this week for the Talisker Challenge with Denise. Have a look at how that one's been done.
Yeah.
That's a university one, but have a look at how other companies and organisations write them. There's a tone to it. It's very promotional, but informational.
Okay, brilliant. Good point, Brett. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim. Excellent stuff. Good to go, Sam?
Pretty much.
Raring to go. Well done. What's that weather looking like over there? One car park at the top, you see, so.
I didn't bring a coat with me, so I'm not. Quick walk over.
Just like it was last week, you need a canoe together.
Well, exactly. A small boat would do the job. Coracle, perhaps.
Yes.